Good morning. We have a quorum with Chairman Towns and Ms. Zucker present. Is there a motion to call to order the 315th meeting of the members of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Before we start, I just want to note that we have Rebecca Sinclair on the line from Gozer in New York City, and also Shin Kim and Cassie Ward and Janelle Doris will be speaking when we get to their items. And if everyone in Albany could just go around the room and state their name for attendance purposes, that would be great.
Hi, Heather Spitzberg.
Sean Fitzgerald.
Chris Leah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Dawn, we have two other OCR staff.
Sorry, I couldn't see. I should put my glasses on.
Hi, Jason Purvis.
We have Jason Purvis and Crystal Loeffler.
As well as?
Eric Lewandowski, Division Budget.
Okay. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the 314th meeting held on April 9th, 2015. If there's no questions or comments, the minutes are deemed approved. Thank you. The second item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing award under the Homes for Working Families program for Lake Ravine Apartments. Mr. Garwood is here to present this item.
Hi, we're seeking approval for a Homes for Working Families award for the Lake Ravine project. Yeah. Sorry, now I'm organized. So the project is a 111 unit acquisition rehab of a project located on Lake Avenue in the city of Rochester. We previously went through the details at the HFA board. We are seeking an award of $2.3 million of Homes for Working Families funding for the project, which will be supported by a HAP contract for all 110 revenue generating units. As I mentioned, it's an important community development project that has substantial support from the city of Rochester and has a very impactful presence on Lake Avenue in terms of the building architecture.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, if there are no questions, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 3, a resolution authorizing award under the Medicaid Redesign Team program for the Webster Avenue Supportive Housing Residents. Mr. Garwood?
Hi, we're back before you for this project. It had previously been awarded an MRT an amount more than a year ago now, and as it sought funding from an additional resources and come before HFA and been approved for tax-exempt bond financing, we're coming back as they've reapplied for some additional funding. This will finance the new construction of 170 units of housing in the Bronx. 85 of those units, it's a mixed income, or excuse me, mixed integrated supportive housing project, but 85 of those units will be available to people with severe and persistent mental illnesses. They applied for funding under our MRT RFP issued in 2014 and are seeking an award of $5.58 million. There is substantial leverage from HHAP and the Federal Home Loan Bank, but this is an amount that we need to move the project forward. If you have any questions.
I don't know.
If there are no questions on this item, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 4, a resolution authorizing the reallocation of awards under the Public Housing Modernization Program to the Wilna Housing Authority. Mr. D'Amico is here to present this item.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is the last of our scrubbing efforts. Basically, we go back into the portfolio, look at jobs that were successfully completed, and recapture the money and bring it to where it is needed. We've got Rockville Center. They completed a general rehab with some older monies from '99. And we've got Plattsburgh Housing Authority, which is now federalized and running quite well. Both housing authorities have been notified that we're recovering those funds, no questions this time. And we're asking that it be transferred to Wilna Housing Authority. They are undergoing handicap accessibility for apartment rehab as well as the office. We're confident of the figures because the architect on site came up with an additional figure as they're going out to bid. Our A&E concurred with them. The main thing is that the office ADA work, we did not know, but to make it function properly, you had to bump out part of the building itself. And that explains why there's about $250,000 extra. And these would recover that.
I think this is a great effort. I commend you. You always like looking in all the cubby holes for whatever money we can, putting it to good use. I have no questions.
Okay, if there are no questions, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried.
Also had a question. I was like, where's Wilna?
Wilna?
I got it. It's near Watertown. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's actually in Carthage.
Ah, okay.
The next item on the agenda is number 5, a resolution authorizing awards under the Access to Home Medicaid program. Mr. Leo will be presenting this item.
Good morning. The Office of Community Renewal is submitting, what you see there is $1 million. It's actually $975,000 in New York State Access to Home for Medicaid awards for review, consideration, and action by the board. The funding source for this initiative was allocated to the Housing Trust Fund Corporation from the New York State Department of Health appropriation that was dedicated to support the needs of Medicaid eligible individuals. The New York State Department of Health and the Housing Trust Fund Corporation have coordinated efforts to fund the expansion of the Access to Home program to offer targeted assistance to Medicaid recipients living with a disability, providing financial assistance for adapting homes to meet the needs of Medicaid recipients with disabilities will enable these individuals to continue to safely and comfortably live in their residences and avoid institutional care. The Access to Home program for Medicaid has a secondary goal of lowering health care costs over the long run. The applications for the annual solicitation have been evaluated and scored and ranked. Eligible applicants for the program are not-for-profit organizations and municipalities who will provide accessibility improvements to homes occupied by low and moderate income Medicaid recipients. The application was conducted, process was conducted in a transparent manner according to the NOFA and request for proposal material. The NOFA was published on December 10th. A total of 18 applications were submitted from 31 counties and 9 regions of the state. The total request was for $2.4 million. After the review process, the Office of Community Renewal is recommending 7 awards totaling $975,000. We're excited about this program. It took a while to get it off the ground, but we feel that we have a good working relationship with our colleagues at the Department of Health. And we're excited to see where this program goes, and we're looking forward to continued collaboration in the future with DOH on this project. Are there any questions?
I do have a question, Chris. I see that the awards are targeted in particular regions. Are the awardees in those regions able to cover the other geographic areas of the state, or not?
Basically, no, they're not. So, you know, this is an open competition. We're reacting to the applications that are received, evaluating them by rank score, and then awarding as the funding is available. Had we had access to more money, we would have felt comfortable awarding an additional 2 or 3 awards. Again, so we're considering this a bit of a pilot. We'll make whatever changes we need to get broader participation in the future.
All right. And I see there was nothing for Mohawk Valley.
No, it's odd how that worked.
Okay. But presumably you're doing outreach or coordinating with some social service umbrella to identify folks who could do this, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know,
Okay.
it's interesting to note that a lot of the organizations that we're funding are frequent flyers with the normal Access to Home program. The only reason why, or one of the reasons why we may not have been more subscribed throughout the state is it's a new program, and sometimes I think that the LPAs just need time to get used to, you know, what we're proposing. But we have a set of very strong organizations here, and again, if we can get more money from DOH next year, hopefully we can get greater coverage.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Okay. Are there any additional questions on this item? Then, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 6, a resolution authorizing awards under the Access to Home program. Mr. Leo?
Thank you. Good morning. The Office of Community Renewal is submitting $1,350,000 in New York State Access to Home Award recommendations for review, consideration, and action by the Housing Trust Fund Board. The funding available for this round includes $1 million from the 2014 state appropriation and additional $350,000 available from deobligated and recaptured funds from previous awards. Applications for the annual 2014 Access to Home program have been evaluated, scored, and ranked. Eligible applicants for this program include not-for-profit organizations and municipalities who will provide accessibility improvements to homes occupied by very low and low moderate income individuals. Here again, the NOFA for the program was announced on December 10th. The Office of Community Renewal received 40 applications covering 40 counties and 10 regions of the state. The total request was over $5.8 million. And again, we only had $1,350,000 available. After our traditional review, we are recommending 9 projects with a total award amount of the full amount available of $1.3 million. Again, this is a very successful program. We have benefited from increased funding through the JP Morgan Chase settlement, which we will be announcing over the next couple of months. Again, very popular program, serves a very needy clientele. Happy to entertain any questions you may have.
I do have a question. So was it just scoring again that left out particular parts of the state? Because,
Yes.
I mean,
Yep.
Access to Home is the Medicaid money, and this funds can be used almost interchangeably, right?
There's another step in eligibility review for the Medicaid program where the LPAs will need to at least confirm that the applicant is a Medicaid recipient, but aside from that, they're generally the same. We kept them separate just for tracking purposes, but there's no reason to say that we couldn't combine them in the future. And again, it's a competitive solicitation, you know, and there certainly could be an opportunity.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, typically we don't. It's just not how we conduct business. I think the response there could be increased technical assistance before the next round so that we can start reaching out to parts of the state that don't typically participate.
Okay.
Are there any additional questions on this item? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 7, a resolution authorizing awards under the Buffalo Main Streets Initiative Program. Mr. Leo?
Thank you. The Office of Community Renewal is submitting a list of 13 Buffalo Main Street Initiative Awards for review, consideration, and action by the board. With board approval, OCR will execute grant agreements for 13 awardees and administer the projects in coordination with Empire State Development Corporation. The Buffalo Main Street Initiative is a collaboration between the Housing Trust Fund Corporation and ESD. On October 3rd, ESD released a request for proposals to announce available funding through the Better Buffalo Fund, which is part of the Buffalo Billion. The Better Buffalo Fund included funding for the Buffalo Main Street Initiative and a program model, which is a program modeled on the very successful Main Street program. Not-for-profit organizations within identified corridors in the city of Buffalo were eligible to apply for these funds to revitalize mixed-use neighborhood commercial districts through targeted improvements such as facade renovations, interior building upgrades, and streetscape enhancements. The BBF also included a transit-oriented design program ESD will fully administer the TOD portion of the Better Buffalo Fund and sub-allocate funding to the Housing Trust Fund Corporation to administer the Main Street portion. The BMSI awards, again, are available for single-site downtown anchor projects, multi-site target area building renovations. ESD received 20 applications requesting over $6.6 million in Buffalo Main Street funds. ESD and New York Main Street staff completed a coordinated review of the 20 applications received and are proposing the 13 awards you see listed in the resolution. I'd like to give credit to Crystal Loeffler, who's here today. Crystal single-handedly worked with ESD on this program, lent her expertise in the Main Street program to really move this program forward. So I'd like to acknowledge the very hard work that she put into this, in addition to the million and other things that we ask her to do at OCR. I think this is going to be a successful program. There may be another BMSI round in the near future, and if I had to speculate, we might see this model incorporated into the upstate initiative that's currently going through the CFA now, where any of the regions that win that substantial sum of money, we may expect to see more of this. So be willing to answer any questions you may have.
That's great. Congratulations. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I agree with Marion. Good job to both you and Crystal.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Yep.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 8, a resolution authorizing awards under the Restore program. Mr. Leo?
Thank you. The Office of Community Renewal is submitting $1,385,000 in Restore award recommendations for review and consideration by the board. All of the funds being advanced are from the 2014 state appropriation. The source of the appropriation is, again, from the budget. Applications for the Restore round have been evaluated and ranked. Again, there is no geographic targeting here. It's kind of the same LPA approach that we've discussed previously. Eligible applicants are not-for-profit organizations and municipalities located throughout the state. We conducted our traditional review of the applications pursuant to a NOFA that was published on December 10th, 2014. We received 43 requests for funds. Total request was $2.1 million. We are recommending 30 awards totaling the full amount required. We're leveraging over $5.2 million in funding here. And again, this is another program that is relatively small but provides a big benefit to the recipients. These programs are emergency funds that are specifically to elderly homeowners to address circumstances where a boiler may break, a roof may start to leak. These funds are really deployed very quickly. So again, it's a nice little program. This program, again, has received some extra funding from JPMorgan Chase, and we're looking forward to announcing another round of Restore funds in the upcoming months. Be happy to take any questions you may have.
No questions.
Good.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. If there's no objection from the members, I would like to change the order of the agenda and have Mr. Leo continue with his presentation with items number 13 and 14.
I think we can handle that.
Okay. Okay. The next item is number 13, a resolution authorizing award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Genesee County under the Economic Development Program. Mr. Leo?
Yes, thank you, and hello again. You're subjected to me rambling on a little without a break. So we're here before the board to propose funding $750,000 in Community Development Block Grant Economic Development Funds to Genesee County to assist in the basically rebirth of a company called TW Minor, which is located. All right, we'll let you know, but it's out in Genesee County. Interesting story here. P.W. Minor, founded in 1847, is one of the oldest shoe manufacturing companies in the country. In July 2014, the company was forced to close its doors due to reduced sales, increased debt, and increased reliance on imported goods from Asia, Central America, and Mexico. With closure imminent, 2 local investors purchased the company and rehired the 54 employees whose jobs were lost. The goal is to bring a substantial amount of the manufacturing back to New York State and Genesee County. The proposed project will allow P.W. Minor to purchase machinery and equipment to reduce production time, increase product line availability, and expand marketing efforts. All done in preparation for a second phase of capital expenditures that is intended to eventually push annual sales to $200 million. Empire State Development has offered Excelsior job tax credits in the amount of $2.1 million. This announcement was made about 2 or 3 months ago. The proposed $3.6 million project will create 80 full-time jobs over 2 years, with 81% of those jobs benefiting low to moderate income persons. The CDBG funds will be used to offset the cost of machinery and equipment, and the job cost is very reasonable, $9,375. This is a very popular project in Genesee County. It's receiving a lot of support. It's almost kind of a America Pie baseball type of situation where we have a manufacturer upstate who is now insourcing production from China. So it's certainly a success story and something that we are very happy to be participating in. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you may have on this project.
Anything that brings more shoes to New York. No, it's great, Chris. Really looks like a great project.
Okay. Are there any questions on this item? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 14, a resolution authorizing award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Otsego County under the Small Business Program. Mr. Leo?
Thank you. The Office of Community Renewal is requesting the board to consider an $80,000 small business loan to the Cooperstown Distillery. The applicant in this situation is Otsego County. The county has requested $80,000 in small business funds to assist in the expansion of the Cooperstown Distillery. The distillery has been in business for 18 months and is recognized as a farm distillery in New York State and has a registered federal distilling license. The project will allow for the opening of the Cooperstown Beverage Exchange, which is intended to be a co-op of locally produced alcohol products sold both in a typical retail scenario as well as an on-premise consumption. The store will market all the goods of the members of the Cooperstown Beverage Trail, which includes various wineries and distilleries in that area, similar to that of a traditional liquor store. Additionally, the distillery license allows for the sale of alcohol beverages by the drink, therefore creating a bar scenario within the store after 5 p.m. The proposed $205,000 project will create 8 full-time jobs over 2 years, with 6 of those jobs benefiting low to moderate income persons. New York State funds will be used to offset the cost of machinery and equipment and working capital, and the New York cost per job, the cost per job is $10,000. And I just wanted to note with this project is it's an example of how the agency is supporting one of Governor Cuomo's major initiatives, and that's a facilitation of the growth of the state's craft beer, wine, and distillery industry. You may recall that the governor convened 2 beer and wine summits, one in 2012 and the other in 2014. With the goal of basically cutting red tape and any type of administrative actions that could help this important industry grow. As a result, I've seen industry reports that indicate that the number of craft breweries has doubled between 2012 and January 2015. Further, the industry accounts for over 6,500 jobs in the state and has an overall impact of roughly $3.5 billion a year. What's nice about these projects is they hit a couple of different economic development themes. Here we're talking about tourism, supporting the agricultural business. It's a definite job creator. And what we're seeing in these projects is an aspect of placemaking, which you don't normally see with a lot of our economic development projects, which tend to be larger manufacturing facilities. So we're really hitting a lot of important notes here. This is the 3rd craft brewery type business that we've funded since 2012. And I get the sense that we're going to see a couple more than a couple more moving forward. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have on this project.
Shoes and booze.
Shoes.
If I can just
Right,
as
but
an
a
aside,
nice sort of agricultural manufacturing. It's, I mean, as you say, these are, I think they're great.
I've
Great to
also
see
got
us.
inquiries
No, go ahead.
on medical marijuana. So we may be seeing some of those projects coming up in the future as well. So CDBG
All
is
in the
very
name of
flexible.
job creation.
Yes.
Placement. Thank you, Chris. Well done.
Shoes, booze, and snooze. So,
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
so moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next 4 items are confirmation items of previously passed resolutions. Resolutions approved in writing must be confirmed by members at the next meeting in order to retain their effectiveness. The first confirmation item is number 9, a resolution confirming authorization of award by prior written approval under the Low Income Housing Trust Fund program. By written approval on May 13th, 2015, the members passed a resolution authorizing awards under the Low Income Housing Trust Fund program for Niagara City Lofts in an amount of up to $5,703,445. Sibley Redevelopment Phase 1 in an amount of up to $9 million. Harbor Street Lofts in an amount of up to $2,196,596. Tapestry on the Hudson in an amount of $4,294,885. Nyack Point Apartments in an amount of up to $2,033,000. Temple Hill in an amount of up to $2.2 million. Ulster Gardens 2 in an amount of up to $2.2 million. Help Buffalo 2 in an amount of $2,862,387. The Muse at Hopewell Junction in an amount of up to $3.5 million. Lincoln Gardens in an amount of up to $1,225,000. Lampere Court Apartments 1 in an amount of up to $1.4 million. Oneonta Heights in an amount of up to $2,941,587. Cambrai Court Apartments LP in an amount of up to $1,950,000. Niagara Gateway Apartments in an amount of up to $2.2 million. Lakeview Macedon in an amount of up to $3.2 million. And Ida Yarbrough Homes Redevelopment in an amount of up to $4.4 million. Mr. Fitzgerald is here if there's any questions.
I don't have any questions. I just want to commend Sean and his team and Brad for their work and bringing us to the close of another successful unified funding round. Well done.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you.
I agree. Well done, guys.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next confirmation item is 10, a resolution confirming authorization of award by prior written approval under the HOME program. By written approval on May 13th, 2015, the members passed a resolution authorizing awards under the New York State HOME program for Blossom Village Apartments in an amount of up to $2 million, Highland School Apartments in an amount of up to $2.2 million, Housing for Veterans of Canandaigua in the amount of up to $2,499,382, and Oneonta Heights in an amount of up to $3,065,149. Mr. Fitzgerald is here with for any questions?
I don't have any questions. Well done again.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next confirmation item is 11, a resolution confirming authorization of award by prior written approval under the Medicaid Redesign Team Program. By written approval on May 13, 2015, the members passed a resolution authorizing awards under the Medicaid Redesign Team Program for Riverview Apartments in an amount of up to $575,700. Nyack Point Apartments in an amount of up to $1,125,000. Ulster Gardens 2 in an amount of up to $2.5 million. 220 Hull Street in an amount of up to $1,554,798. Webster Green in an amount of up to $4.5 million, and Lampier Court Apartments in an amount of up to $2,750,000. Mr. Fitzgerald is here to answer any questions.
I have no questions. I just want to say how happy I am to see us using the MRT money also through the Unified Funding Round, and honestly, it's great.
Likewise.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion is carried. The next confirmation item is 12, a resolution confirming authorization of award by prior written approval under the Community Investment Fund Program. By written approval on May 13, 2015, the members passed a resolution authorizing awards under the Community Investment Fund Program for the FAC Sunset Park Library in an amount of up to $721,906, and Niagara Gateway Apartments in an amount of up to $306,105. Mr. Fitzgerald is here for any questions.
Questions?
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. If there's no objection from the members, I'll change the order of the agenda and have Mr. Fitzgerald present his last item on the agenda, number 18, a resolution reauthorizing award under the Low Income Housing Trust Fund Program for Our Lady of Lourdes.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Fitzgerald.
Good morning, Commissioner Towns and Zucker. This resolution is a reauthorization of the HTF award for a project that we awarded last unified funding round. One of the things that we did differently last round was we included in all the HTFC resolutions a provision that automatically lapsed the authorization if the project hadn't gone to a construction financing closing within 360 days of the award. This project, Lady of Lourdes, sponsored by Ridgewood Bushwick Senior Citizens Council, had originally proposed a construction financing closing of November 2014. Due to issues with state historic preservation requirements, the project was delayed. We have inquired as to the status of the project, and they have made tremendous progress at all fronts. We've confirmed with HPD in New York City that this project is slated for a June 2015 closing. Our assessment is that it is in fact ready for that closing. So at this time, we do recommend a reauthorization of the award.
I don't have any questions.
None for me.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 15, a resolution approving revised Governor's Office of Storm Recovery Procurement Policy. Ms. Kim is presenting this item via telephone.
Good morning, this is Shin Kim from GOSER. So we have revisions to the GOSER specific procurement guidelines. The additional revisions to the procurement policy is really intended to more closely align the language with federal requirements, as well as modify some additional policies aimed at improving GOSER's procurement practices and to more efficiently perform our duties. Specific changes include the addition of a provision that encourages the use of intergovernmental agreements, allowing GOSER to, a requirement that requires GOSER to refer violations of law to appropriate local, state, or federal authorities. The changes aimed at improving our practices include the waiver of dollar threshold for invitations for a bid above $50,000, more explicit language on final determination of vendor responsibilities, language that relieves GOSER of memorializing in a memorandum the rationale for non-material contract amendments, as well as a requirement that makes contract managers complete a vendor performance evaluation questionnaire on an annual basis to track and record the performance of vendors for future use. Thank you.
Are there any questions on this item?
I don't have any questions.
None for me.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 16, a resolution approving SECRA unlisted negative declarations for 1561 Walton Avenue Settlement Housing Fund Incorporated and Excelsior 2 High Bridge Community HDFC. Ms. Spitzberg is presenting this item from Albany.
Good morning, everyone. This morning I have to present to you two projects. They are both new construction of 6 units in Bronx County, and we have reviewed them at the Environmental Analysis Unit and determined to recommend to you that they be classified as unlisted actions and that negative declarations be made by the board this morning. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have at this time.
I have no questions.
I'm good, Heather.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is 17, a resolution authorizing amendment to the August 13th, 2013 resolution approving Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Awards. And we have Ms. Sinclair presenting this item via phone.
Hi, this is Rebecca Sinclair. In August of 2013, we received approval to proceed with the buyout and acquisition program under terms that were originally taken from other state federal programs that focused on owner occupancy. We were still development phase of that program. In actual operation, and actually what's allowed by HUD is to operate the program for rental properties and non-owner occupied properties so that we could purchase other types of housing, specifically within the buyout areas. So we're seeking really through this to clarify our position and clarify the qualified types of housing, as well as the award cap for that is an amendment to the original resolution.
Are there any questions on this item?
None for me.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next item Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 19, a resolution authorizing contract with vendor for assessment of impediments to fair housing. Ms. Collins is here to present this item.
Good morning, Commissioner, Ms. Zucker. I'm actually going to ask Mr. David Muchnick to also join me, as David was the author of the Analysis of Impediments RFP.
Just like that.
Oh, sure.
On Monday, March 16, 2015, the Office of Policy and Research, in collaboration with the Office of Fair and Equitable Housing, issued a request for proposals for the preparation of New York State's Analysis of Impediments to Fair Housing Choice. The AI process is a proactive means by which the state carries out its responsibility to affirmatively further fair housing. The extent of the AFFH obligation has never been defined statutorily. However, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development defines it as requiring a grantee to conduct an analysis to identify impediments to fair housing choice within the jurisdiction, take appropriate actions to overcome the effects of any impediments identified through the analysis, and maintain records reflecting the analysis and actions taken in this regard. Proposals for the AI RFP were due on Thursday, April 16th, 2015. Bids were received from Impact Strategic Consulting LLC, Mullen and Lonergan Associates, and TDA Consulting Incorporated. The HTFC evaluation team selected Northeast and Bucks Company, trading as Mullen and Lonergan Associates, for the three-part AI. M&L is a Pennsylvania-based housing and community development consulting firm with highly experience in the preparation of AIs. In the past 8 years, they have completed 70 AIs, including AIs for the states of Iowa, Vermont, and Delaware, as well as for 3 New York State entitlement communities, Yonkers, New Rochelle, and Buffalo. They are currently completing an AI for Erie County that covers the urban county and the towns of Hamburg, Amherst, Cheektowaga, and Tonawanda. In addition to M&L's AI experience, the HTFC evaluation team was impressed with analysis tools that the organization would bring to the project, such as the zoning risk assessment tool and communities of opportunity model. M&L has successfully met their 30% MWBE participation goal by participating with New Jersey-based BCT Partners and Rochester, New York-based Highland Planning LLC. Their proposal also included a thorough public engagement process with activities such as a stakeholder outreach, regional public meetings, a project website, and web-based surveys. Engaging the public in the development of the AI is important to ensure that the voice of all New Yorkers is reflected in the document. By October 31st, 2015, M&L will produce and deliver a 3-part AI to HTFC on behalf of the state. Part 1 will include a regional analysis of impediments in the state's entitlement jurisdiction, an area of the state with 1.64 million households in all or parts of 54 of the state's 62 counties. Part 2 will include a regional analysis of impediments in 33 counties exclusive of New York City, whose localities have received or are eligible to receive allocations of federal Community Development Block Grant disaster recovery funds from the state to recover from Hurricane Irene, Tropical Storm Lee, and/or Hurricane Sandy. Part 3 will include a compendium and distillation of the impediments and recommendations identified in Parts 1 and 2, with those impediments and recommendations identified in the most recent AIs prepared by the 49 local entitlement jurisdictions within New York State. In closing, the Fair and Equitable Housing Office has been tasked with developing a more proactive approach to remove regulatory barriers at the state level and to affirmatively further fair housing. And since January, along with other offices within the agency, we have begun to do just that. Your approval of this contract for a 1-year term and in an amount not to exceed $452,458 in total will not only ensure that we are meeting our federal requirements, but will also help New York State regain its position of leadership and put us at the forefront of fair and equitable housing activities. Thank you.
I have just 2 clarifying questions. So it says, Lorraine, that they're going to be subcontracting with what looks like 6 different firms, and of that, just one of them is an MWBE, but it's their subcontract for that piece is sufficient to meet the 30% requirement.
It's actually 2, isn't it?
One is an MBE and one is a WBE. The firm in New Jersey is the MBE and the firm in Rochester is the WBE.
Okay, because it seems like it calls out. I see. I misread it. And then the other thing is the name of the entity. Are they publicly traded? I mean, what is that traded as? That's right, it's like a name and traded as another name?
I believe their origination was as Mullen and Lonergan, and then the firms merged or were bought out by the Northeast and Bucks, and then to present or continue their business as Mullen and Lonergan. As far as publicly traded on the stock market, I'm not sure if...
No, just such a
I was
funny
curious
nomenclature.
about that fact as well, and I did a little research, and it's very similar to a DBA that some firms use.
Okay.
They actually put TA, and I was like, what is a TA? And it said trading as. So they're not publicly traded, but they said it's very similar to a DBA.
Thank you for the clarification.
Great.
All right, no further questions. Look forward to the results.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Great job.
Thank you. The motion is carried. The next several items are informational items, and no board action is necessary for these items. The first informational item is 20, a review of the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery secret determinations. The next item is 21, a quarterly project status report from the Office of Finance and Development. The next item is a review of the updated action plan for CDBG Disaster Recovery Program, certifications of proficient controls, processes, and procedures. If there are any questions on this item, Cassia Ward and Janal Doris are on the telephone to address them.
I have no questions.
Sure, there's no question.
Yep,
Okay.
sorry.
No,
Let's
that's,
move it.
that's fine. The next item is 23, a review of executed agreements under the CDBG Disaster Recovery Program, which include amendments to the Memorandum of Understanding between New York State Department of State and the Housing Trust Fund Corporation. Contracts were executed with IMG Rebel Advisory, LLC, JCM Commercial Business Solutions, LLC, and Holland and Knight, LLP. Amendments to contracts were executed with AKRF Incorporated, STV Construction Incorporated, Tectonic Engineering and Surveying Consultants, McKissick and McKissick, Hill International Incorporated, Dewberry Engineers Incorporated, Moss Cape LLC, Scape Landscape Architecture P LLC, Innovative Emergency Management Inc., IEM. The next item is 24, a review of SECRA concur summaries. The final informational item is 25, a review of Type 2 SECRA summaries. The next and final item on the agenda is unfinished business. This item is 26, a review of appointment of Director of Internal Audit for the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, which remains unfinished. Are there any remaining questions, comments, or requests for presentation?
None for me.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Go, sir.
everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a good one.
guys.